Hey everybody, welcome to Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm us. Jack's still down at Lake Jackson. We're still separated mostly because it's just miles and trying to be safe. Today I'm going to do this one. It's a soup, and it's not in a crock pot, so you're going to like it. This is traditional. This is how to make it without doing the packet and stuff. This is going to be great. Before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the little notification bell. We do these Tuesdays, Fridays, you get those. And also check out our link for our merch. We got some cool stuff down in there. We very much appreciate that. And let's just get into it. This is going to be so good. I'm probably going to cry. I'm going to cry.
Alright, so you're going to need 6 cups of onions. It took me about 4 of these small ones. You're going to need a little bit of bread, some pepper to taste, and brown sugar. You can use regular sugar, but I like my sugar like my women, just a little bit unrefined. I'm going to need some Parmesan cheese, as much to taste. You're going to need 6 cups of beef broth. So both that and your onions you're going to need 6 cups of, and some either canola or vegetable oil or something to cook it with. You're only going to need 1/3 of a cup of that stuff. Alright, so first things first, you got to peel these friggin' onions. Like, the skin's a pain in the neck. See, I just cut the top and bottom off and then peel them. My mother and my grandmother could always just cut them, and then the skin would come off as they're cutting, and they could separate it out. It's not a problem. Every time I do that, I end up with fucking onion skin in my food, and it's a pain in the neck. So I just go ahead and pull it off. So now you got it nice and clean. You're going to hold it sideways, so you're going to cut it from top to bottom. Right? That's how you get the rings out of this one, right? So go ahead and do half of it, and I'm going to show you this, because you want to go ahead and be able to pop them out. You don't want to cook the whole giant disc of onion. You want to be able to just do the little rings of it or whatever. It makes it a more delicate soup other than just, hey, whole mouthful of onion. So you want it relatively thin. See how you can see this, and just kind of pop it out. See, that's what you want to do. Now, I can't measure this for crap. You're supposed to have 6 cups. I wedged it into my measuring cup. That looks like one. Put it in another bowl. Did that 6 times. I'm good. So it took me about 4 onions. Now I'm going to show you this thing I learned. So once you start cutting it, when you get halfway through, it's a pain in the ass to hold on to it the other way. So turn it around. That's easy enough. And then cut it from the outside in again. You keep that grip. You keep your fingers out of the way. You got less risk of cutting off a freaking finger trying to make soup. Right? See, and you can keep your eye on everything. If you're doing it on the other side, you're getting less and less grip because it's smaller. Shout out to Squire Mary, who gave me the book that taught me how to do that. So that was really good. You're going to need a decent sized pot or a really big pan. This was about a hand span. I don't know how big that is. But you're going to have to cook the onions in it, then you're going to make the soup in it. So go ahead and put in your 1/3 of your oil, and then put your heat at about medium to medium. Yeah, I guess just medium high. Don't want it too high. And go ahead and just put all your onions in there. Now, don't worry about it if you didn't break them up while you're cutting them. You can go ahead and do it now, or you can do it while you're cooking them and just kind of knock them around with your spatula here. Just whack, whack, whack. Or just reach in with my hand and did all that. Now, get you a tablespoon of the sugar. Again, I used brown sugar because that's what all I had. And then a teaspoon of pepper. You don't want to over pepper this stuff. Most of my friends aren't really into pepper. I am, so I kind of went light on it. Again, that's to taste. If you want to put more pepper in it, you want to add anything else in, now's the time to do it. Oh, and also break apart your onions. So you do. I want to keep doing that the entire video. I'm sorry. So go ahead, and while this is starting to heat up, like I said, medium high, you're going to cook it for about 15 minutes. You're going to let these cook. Just when they start to caramelize is when we're going to add the rest of our soup stuff. So give it a nice stir. Keep a lid on it. Let it cook. Stir it every 2 or 3 minutes, right? Just don't let it all sit on the bottom, or it's just going to cook on the bottom and the top won't. And man, this is when your house is going to start to smell awesome. It's going to smell like onion, but it's going to smell awesome. So you better like onion before you make onion soup. So this is a little while in. Right, so once it starts to brown, starts to make that actual caramel color, that's what you're looking for. So that took me about 15 minutes. Then add all 6 cups of your beef broth. Now, the trick to broth in these things here, it's kind of like people. If you want the liquid to come out faster, stab it with a knife. Don't go stabbing people to get blood out of them, but hypothetically speaking, if you want blood out of people faster, you stab with a knife, more holes, and blood will come out faster. So, same as with your beef broth. This is the comparison I'm trying. Look, just put a hole in the bottom of it, and the beef broth will come out faster. So just put all 6 cups of it in there, right with the rest of this stuff. You're gonna, again, leave your fire at like medium to medium high. Right, give it a nice stir, and you're gonna let it cook. Bring to a boil. Right, so cover it, let it boil. Once that bad mama jamma comes to a boil, it only took like 3 or 4 minutes, I think. Go ahead and turn it down to a simmer, all the way down to a simmer. Put a lid and let that bad mama jamma cook for 30 minutes. Right, you got it down on the simmer, 30 minutes, 30, right? Keep a lid on it. Give it a little stir every now and then if you want to. But, yeah, that's what is awesome. Now, while you're doing that, I forgot my oven was busted. So, we're going to have to toast the bread a different way. I'm going to bust out my Darth Vader toaster. Yeah, so go ahead. My bread won't quite fit in there, so I'm just going to cut it down to relatively toaster-sized pieces. Again, watch your fingers. Shout out to Andy for the cutting board and the knife sharpening, because I keep just beating the hell out of these blades, man. So I know he puts up with a lot to come over and sharpen these things, so I keep using them to show you guys. So now that I've got those cut, we're going to wedge them into our toaster. Now, only one side of this freaking thing toasts because it puts the word Star Wars on the other side. So just go ahead and wedge your bread in there. I got that one a little low on the bottom, so it's big on the top. Go ahead and mash it, flat with your hands, and then it should slide right in there. Look, it's just so easy to just kind of mash it in there. And you can put 2 slices in there. And then the most important thing is make sure your damn toaster's plugged in. I almost screwed up. So plug that in, turn it on there, and toast this to where it's relatively, get in the damn thing, and then until it's relatively warm. And we'll be, yeah. So that was only one cycle through my toaster, but it turned out really warm, and I burned a little bit monkey out of myself right there. But it's warm. It's still very warm. While it's warm, put the cheese on it. That's where your Parmesan comes in. Just kind of sprinkle it on, put it as heavy as you want. Now, if you're going to do this in an oven, put it on like a low broil, and you can heat it up in there, and the cheese will get all nice and bubbly on top, and it'll just cook the top of it. Slightly toast your bread, which is good. If you broke like me, or your oven's busted, use a toaster. I wouldn't recommend putting it in a microwave unless you have a toaster and a microwave. Like this, it's not going to be great as melty. Put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds. It'll melt the cheese a little bit, and it's fancier and it's better than that. I don't mind the cheese being loose because I can sprinkle it into my soup. Soup's really good. This is after 30 minutes of simmering. It's very hot. I'm going to use your fake hand if you're going to do anything with it. But this is ready to serve. Right out of the thing, right into the bowl. So you're good. Now, no such thing as too much cheese unless you're drowning in it. So I always just give me a little bit of that Parmesan, sprinkle it in there anyway, just because more cheese is always better. Okay? Once you get that done, now, this is how the fancy people do it. You get that fancy toasted bread and put it in there like a lifeboat, like you're trying to save the onions. Done. This is ready to serve. This is an outstanding meal. I've always had the packaged stuff. I've used the packages for other stuff, and I've actually made soup with it when I was starving before, so it was a little different. This, making it on the stovetop, it's super simple. It is cheap. Because, it's a bag of onions for like $3, and I think the beef broth was like $2, $3 maybe. So this is well under our budget. It fed me at least 5 days. So it's a family of 4 or 5 can at least one meal out of this. You got a meal prep. This is going to be outstanding.
And there you have it, folks. That's some awesome onion soup. Your entire house is going to smell like onion. So beware if somebody around you doesn't like onion, or you're a bachelor and somebody's coming to kiss you in the face. It's not me, but I'm a bachelor. Yeah, this is going to be onion for days, dude. It's super fancy, especially with the bread. Even if I put it in my Darth Vader toaster, whatever. If y'all do it differently, you want to see me do it differently, let us know. Put it down in the comments. I very much appreciate that stuff. Also, you can find us on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon, and all of those that live between Paychecks Kitchen. Shout out to our patrons. Can't do this without you. New videos coming soon. And you can also find us on Instagram, Living Between. Head to Jordan. I'm going to go eat some onion soup and just kill my breath. That'll be awesome. I'll see you guys next time. How come nobody want to come keep me? I guess because it's onion soup. It's got to be.